The C-17 Globemaster III is a beast of logistics, capable of delivering heavy armor anywhere.
But dropping a Humvee from the sky isn't just gravity, it is a masterpiece of physics. Many believe vehicles simply drive out the back in midair. That is a Hollywood myth.
In reality, the process requires precise rigging, calculating weights, and utilizing extraction energy.
The Humvee doesn't touch the floor directly. It rides on a specialized aluminum Type 5 platform.
This honeycomb cardboard is crucial. It acts as a shock absorber, crushing upon impact to save the axle.
The suspension must be compressed. If it bounces on landing, the vehicle could roll and be destroyed.
This is the extraction line. It connects the heavy load to the small parachute that pulls it out. The main parachutes, G11s, are packed tightly. They sit atop the load, waiting for deployment. Multiple vehicles are daisy-chained. Precision here determines if the mission succeeds or ends in disaster.
Up front, the pilots calculate wind speed, altitude, and drop zone entry points with extreme accuracy.
With the cargo secure, the ramp closes. The rigging phase is done. Now, physics takes over.
4 Pratt & Whitney engines roar to life, pushing 170,000 pounds of thrust down the runway.
Inside, the Loadmasters watch the straps. A shift now could unbalance the aircraft during the climb.
We level off. The drop requires a specific altitude, usually around 1,500 feet for heavy equipment.
2 minutes to drop.
The approach must be steady. Too fast, the chutes rip. Too slow, the plane stalls.
Miller switches to tactical lighting. Red lights preserve night vision and signal the operation is active.
The rail system locks enter aerial delivery mode. The restraints are ready to release on command.
Approaching the drop zone, Miller prepares to open the ramp, exposing the hold to the open sky.
Safety is paramount. Miller is tethered. One slip here means a fall without a parachute.
Balance is critical. If the load is too heavy in the rear, the plane pitches up dangerously.
There are 2 parachute systems here. About?
Time cutters are rigged. They must sever the extraction line at the exact moment to deploy the mains.
The pilot fights the drag. Opening the huge rear door changes the aerodynamics of the entire aircraft.
The rigorous slowdown checklist is complete. The crew waits for the green light from the cockpit.
This static line initiates the sequence. It stays with the plane while the cargo falls away.
1 minute out. The plane pitches up slightly, using gravity to help the heavy loads roll back.
Drop zone appears. Missing this target means lost equipment or landing in hostile territory.
If the automatic system fails, Miller has seconds to manually trigger the release or abort the drop.
The red light dies. The moment of commitment has arrived. There is no turning back now.
Green light! A Hispanic male pilot pulls the nose up. The extraction chute is released into the slipstream.
The drogue chute inflates with a violent crack, creating thousands of pounds of drag force instantly.
The locks release. The sheer force of the drogue drags the 5,000-pound Humvee backward. It picks up speed rapidly. Miller stays clear. The moving load would crush anything in its path. As it crosses the ramp hinge, the center of gravity shifts. The vehicle literally falls out.
Myths suggest it glides. In reality, it tumbles momentarily until the physics of the rigging catches it.
The extraction line now becomes a deployment line, pulling the bags off the main parachutes.
The suspension lines stretch out fully. This hesitation prevents the shock from ripping the vehicle apart. Bloom. 3 massive G11 parachutes catch the air, breaking the fall from 150 miles per hour to 20 miles per hour.
The deceleration is violent. The vehicle swings like a pendulum, testing the strength of the rigging straps.
From the plane, it looks peaceful. A string of green mushrooms floating down to the earth.
In a dual row drop, the next vehicle is already moving. The timing will be perfect.
On the ground, the recovery team watches. They assess the drift to predict the exact landing spot.
The honeycomb cardboard on the bottle is now the only thing between the truck and destruction.
Cardboard is engineered to crush at a specific rate, absorbing the G-force of impact.
It descends at about 28 feet per second. That's roughly equivalent to a 13-foot free fall.
Impact. The platform hits, the honeycomb crushes, and the suspension flexes to its limit.
Chutes collapse. Automatic release mechanisms disconnect them so the wind doesn't drag the vehicle.
The recovery team sprints in. They must de-rig the vehicle before it can be used. Myth busted. You cannot just drive away. You must cut the suspension lashings first.
Inspecting for damage. Sometimes windshields crack or axles bend if the landing was too hard.
The engine roars. The shock absorption worked. The vehicle is combat operational in minutes.
It drives off the pallet, leaving the crushed honeycomb behind. The payload is delivered.
Back in the sky, Miller closes the ramp. The hold is empty, the mission phase complete.
The C-17 climbs to safety. It has just deposited 60,000 pounds of armor without landing.
We've come a long way since WW2. Back then, equipment drops were unguided and often destroyed.
There are different methods. What we saw was a standard velocity drop. There is also LAPS.
LAPS, low altitude parachute extraction. The plane touches the runway, and the load slides out.
LAPS is riskier. We prefer high velocity drops for safety and accuracy today.
What if the chutes fail? It's called a burn-in. The load hits at terminal velocity.
The result is total destruction. A pancake of metal. This is why rigging checks are obsessive.
A streamer is when the chute comes out but doesn't inflate. It just flaps uselessly.
Wind is the enemy. High winds can drag the landed vehicle for miles, tumbling and destroying it.
Abort! Drift calculations are vital. A small math error can drop a tank on a civilian house.
Terrain matters. Dropping into a forest means the equipment is likely irretrievable or damaged.
The floor rollers must be clean. Debris here can jam the platform, causing a hung load.
A hung load is a nightmare. The weight hanging off the back can crash the plane.
If it hangs, Miller must cut it loose immediately to save the aircraft and crew.
The pilot fights to keep the nose down. A dangling Humvee acts like a giant anchor.
Thankfully, failures are rare. The system is redundant and tested thousands of times.
It's not just Humvees. They drop howitzers, food, water, and even bulldozers using this method.
Larger aircraft like the C-5 can drop even heavier loads, like mobile bridges or tanks.
But the C-17 is the workhorse. It's versatile, able to land on short, dirt runways too.
Another myth. People are inside the vehicles. Absolutely not.
The G-force would cause severe injury. Troops jump separately. Usually after the heavy equipment is out, they follow the door bundle.
This ensures the crew lands near their vehicles, ready to de-rig and fight immediately.
Night drops are preferred in combat. Harder for the enemy to see, but harder to execute.
Thermal imaging helps pilots line up the drop when visibility is 0.
The adrenaline dump is real. After the drop, the crew has a long flight home.
Why do this? It projects power. We can put an armored column anywhere in 18 hours.
It's not just war. This technology delivers food and water to disaster zones inaccessible by road.
In earthquakes or floods, the C-17 is often the only lifeline for thousands of people.
Miller takes pride in that. The same system that drops tanks can drop life-saving medicine.
It is expensive. One parachute system can cost thousands, and they aren't always recovered.
Whenever possible, chutes are recovered, repacked, and inspected. They are reusable assets.
Back at base, riggers spend hours folding a single chute. Their signature guarantees its safety.
One crossed line can cause a malfunction. Their attention to detail saves lives and millions in equipment.
The Loadmasters' job is part physics, part muscle, and part cowboy.
The mission ends with a safe landing. The aircraft is refueled and prepped for the next haul.
Miller walks off. Another successful delivery. No glory, just logistics executed to perfection.
Meanwhile, the Humvee is already on patrol. It went from the sky to the front line seamlessly.
Field mechanics verify the drop didn't cause hidden stress fractures at the chassis.
The future is J-pads, Joint Precision Airdrop System. Parachutes with GPS steering motors.
With J-pads, we can drop from 25,000 feet, miles away, and the load steers itself home.
That makes my job easier, but gravity still does the heavy lifting.
From the cardboard honeycomb to the GA-11 chute, every component is vital.
The C-17 remains the king of strategic airlift, a flying warehouse that delivers armies.
Behind the machine are the people, the Loadmasters, who trust their lives to these calculations.
A 99% success rate, a testament to engineering, training, and strict adherence to protocol.
It is a strange, beautiful sight. Tons of steel, floating lighter than air.
She's a good bird. Keeps us safe.
For the pilots, the drop is the moment of truth. The rest is just driving the bus.
Designed in the 80s, built for the future. The C-17 is an engineering marvel.
Ground crews keep them flying. Maintenance is endless for a plane that carries this much weight.
We unmask the drop, the noise, the wind, the precision. It is controlled chaos.
We dispelled the myths. No driving out mid-air. No soft landings without crushed cardboard.
The next time you see a Humvee, remember, it might have arrived via cloud.
The Elephant Walk, a display of force, ready to deploy anywhere, anytime.
Global reach. That is the motto. The ability to touch any point on Earth.
It takes a team. Pilots, Loadmasters, riggers, and ground troops working as one unit.
The vehicle stands ready. A symbol of mobility and strength delivered from the heavens.
Tomorrow, they do it again. Another load, another zone, another defying of gravity.
The C-17 lifts off. Heavy, graceful, and undeniable. The backbone of modern logistics.
This has been a look inside the Air Mobility Command's heavy drop operations.
Science, muscle, and courage. That is what it takes to throw a truck from a plane.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more deep dives into military technology and tactics.
Join us next time as we explore the floating cities of the sea, aircraft carriers.
Stay curious. Stay informed.